All right, Ryan, you talked highly of Cedric Tillman and how good of a receiver he is. Let's bring up a receiver who has been catching some eyes lately. And I know this is a guy that is going to piss you off a little bit. Not piss you off, but I like annoying you with guys that I overreact to. And then I know you want to be a little bit more, down on the ground, cautious, realistic.
Yeah.
But come on, man. I am buying into the Quentin Johnston hype, dude. I can't stop watching this guy. The guy's 6'4", he's 215. He is so freaking fluid. He's going to be a 4.4 athlete at the combine. He's going to test out of the gym. And some of those concerns that you had with him, I think he's improving on them. I see a guy that is exploding out of his, off the line of scrimmage, out of his breaks. He is turning into a very explosive deep threat. His hands continue to shine, which were a positive last season. And he just keeps making all these crazy body control catches that require a lot of really nice athleticism. I'm not saying, and I texted you this and I knew that it annoyed the crap out of you. I'm not going to go as far to say that he might be wide receiver 1, but the conversation for him being a first round pick is legitimate. I don't think that it is outlandish to say that Quentin Johnston, someone's not going to fall in love with him after the combine and say that he deserves to be a first round selection.
I'm not saying it's outlandish. And I'm not even saying it's outlandish to have him at wide receiver 1, Joe. I just think it's a little aggressive of a take. That's all.
But he keeps doing it. It's not like this is
He's
one
done
game.
it 2 games. He's done it 2 games.
What are you talking about? He did it against
Joe. He's done it 2 games. Go look at the game logs.
He did it. He did it against Oklahoma. He did it against Kansas, and he also did it against Oklahoma State.
Okay,
so I will pull up the game logs, but I'm just talking about plays, big plays.
I don't think he had a very good game against Oklahoma, if I remember correctly. I'm about to look this up. Don't worry, I got you, man. I got you.
All right, he only had 41 yards against.
Yes,
but he still has the plays on tape, though. He's not only does he had the plays on tape, and then now he has the dominance to back it up. What the fuck do you keep doing?
I don't even know how I did it that time. That was weird.
Okay, wait. All right, pick up from my issue with him.
Okay.
Wait, let me count you in. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Joe, here's my issue with him. All right, are we ready for this? So here's the positives. Quentin Johnston is 6'4", extremely long arms. Catch radius is insane. He's springy. He can win above the rim. All those things are fantastic. Here's the holdup, okay? And I've talked to you about this before. For me to be incredibly high on a wide receiver, I need to see them win in multiple ways as far as creating separation. That's my thing.
Okay.
I don't think he is – I think he's twitchy vertically. Like he can explode, and that's great. That's how he wins vertically. He stacks, and then he uses that incredible length to win above the rim. That's awesome. I don't think he's ever going to be the twitchiest route runner, though, working in and out of breaks. I don't think he's going to create a ton of separation in that department. And I also – just don't think he's very fast either, Joe. Like I just,
really?
I don't. I think he's a 4.5 something kid, which is fine because he's 6'4". But like, is he going to run away from guys? I don't think he's going to run away from people.
I feel like
he's been stack.
I think he's been flying. That might be where we disagree on the speed, and I'm curious.
How fast do you think he is?
Like 4.48. Like I think that he's like very, very high 4.4s. Because like when he accelerates, and I think when he's at top speed, he's fast. I don't know if 4.5 just seems slow for him, and maybe it's just like the case of big guy moving quickly, and you just kind of get mesmerized by how fast a big guy like that moves down the field. And
I think this guy, Joe, is where it's fool's gold sometimes. It's all, man. Like, could he be AJ Green? Maybe, but also could he be Josh Doxson? Could he be, what was the kid that came out of Iowa State a couple years ago that I liked?
Oh, I was on the Eagles. Oh my God.
Drafted by the Cardinals.
Hakeem Butler.
Could he be Hakeem Butler? Could he?
I hope not.
There's a lot of these. Could he be Denzel Mims? There's a lot of these long, stupid, athletic catch point receivers who don't translate. There's a lot of them. That's my holdup.
If Christian Watson can go as early as he did.
Well, Christian Watson should not have gone early as he did, though. Because Joe, look at right now.
Okay.
Christian Watson is like a relegated jet sweep wide receiver at 6'4" right now because he can't
but his
catch
hands
the
are
football.
his hands are a lot worse than Johnston's are.
But he's also a lot faster than Johnston as well. I mean, Watson ran legit 4.36.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The argument's difficult, and I think it's hard to really project here. I just Jordan Addison hasn't done as much as I think we would have hoped. It feels like Jackson Smith and
he's
Jigba,
banged up. Yeah, they're both banged up now.
They're both banged up, so that's going to impact their projection slightly, depending on how they finish the season. I feel like
think it's a bad wide receiver class, man. It's just a bad wide receiver class.
Right, and all it takes is one freak athlete who's just dunking on dudes.
Look, bad is a little hyperbolic. I think it's an underwhelming wide receiver group. Like Boutte had a good last game, but like Boutte has been like very hindered by the passing offense. Yeah, it's just been So no wide receivers really taking that. I mean, Quentin Johnston, I guess the last 2 games is the only guy that's really taken like that next step, I guess, per se, right? But then I would argue, and I understand that you can only line up against who you're going against, all that type of stuff, Joe. But like, how many NFL defensive backs were in Kansas's secondary? How many NFL defensive? Right. How many NFL players were in Oklahoma State's secondary? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's my holdup, man. It's my holdup. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and again, I don't know why I keep coming back to Christian Watson. But like Christian Watson didn't play against that many NFL DBs. But look, I just think that if he continues this stretch, he's shown a lot of highlights that are exciting.
How high would you take him?
I would take him like 20 and later.
Matt Miller had him as in a top 10 on a mock.
We don't talk about Matt Miller. We don't talk about Matt Miller on this podcast, Ryan. We do not talk about Matthew Miller on this show.
I do my best not to, but I saw it on my timeline because people are stupid and retweet anything. So
I think 25 is realistic. It just depends on what an offense values, and I think certain teams like. Okay, here's a good one. Drake London was somebody that there were separation concerns with, and they're very different, very, very different players. And
I disagree, man. Jake London could run routes, man. He could run routes. He wasn't incredibly fast, but he could run routes. Yeah. Look, this is my thing, though. This is my thing.
They win in very different ways. And yes, Drake London is a better route runner, but Quentin Johnston is still stacking guys, and he's a deep threat for a very different reason rather than his speed. And I think they're comparable speeds. They're both 4.5. If we're saying that's what the speed is, low 4.5 athletes.
This is my thing, though. I don't think that we're too far off. Like, I would consider drafting Quentin Johnston in that 25 to 32 range, depending on what team it is. I would like if it was a team that was close to making a Super Bowl push and they just needed a big physical wide receiver to go with their other departmental players they have. Maybe they have a good slot receiver. Maybe they have a guy that's a good intermediate route runner, whatever. And they just need size to add to the profile. Like, I'd be all right with that. I'm not pushing back against that part. I'm struggling because I feel like some people are pushing him up a little too high right now. Just a little bit too high where I'm like, guys, like, he's a good player. Is he a top 10 pick? Nah.